27 years of marriage. A bond that should have been unbreakable. But sometimes, the people closest to us become strangers in the most devastating ways. It started with a phone call no daughter wants to receive. Her 81-year-old father had passed away, leaving behind a grief she wasn't prepared for. Her husband's brother was toxic, a drunk who never took accountability for his vicious words. So 15 years ago, they moved 1,000 miles away to escape him. For 15 years, there was blessed silence. No contact, no drama. Her husband could talk to his brother if he wanted, but she stayed completely out of it. But then, in her darkest moment of grief, she heard something that would change everything she thought she knew about her marriage. It had been 5 days since her father died. 5 days of trying to hold herself together while handling funeral arrangements and supporting her mother through the unthinkable. But what happened next changed everything. At the funeral home, picking up her father's ashes, she saw the cremation chimney. Suddenly, it all became devastatingly real. She broke down completely when she got home. She allowed herself just 15 minutes to fall apart in her living room. 15 minutes to grieve privately in the home she worked to pay for. Her husband offered no comfort, no support. Even in her deepest pain, he remained emotionally absent, leaving her to grieve completely alone. But as she returned from walking the dogs, she heard her husband on the phone. What she heard next would destroy everything. As she feeds her dogs, she hears her husband on the phone with his brother. This is the first effect I've seen since he died. The betrayal cuts deep, discussing her grief like a medical condition. From the speakerphone comes the brother's cold voice, "Well, she's just going to have to accept reality." 5 days after her father's death, and this is their verdict. They sounded like old men hecklers from the Muppet Show, sitting in their balcony judging everything. Her private grief had become their entertainment, their topic of analysis and criticism. She confronts him directly, "What the hell, dude?" But instead of understanding her pain, he doubles down. He insists he did nothing wrong, that he can betray her confidence anytime. But wait, this betrayal goes much deeper than one phone call. He asks why this is such a big deal, and not all the other things he's told his brother. Wait, other things? He's been sharing her private life for years. The pattern becomes clear: years of private conversations about her, shared with someone who hates her. Every vulnerability, every struggle, dissected by 2 men behind her back. She no longer feels safe with him. 27 years of marriage, and now she can't trust him with her most vulnerable moments. The sanctuary of home has been violated. Over the weekend, they try to talk again. But he remains defensive, making dramatic statements like, "Is this marriage over?" instead of taking responsibility for his betrayal. His position remains unchanged: he did nothing wrong. Classic manipulation: turn himself into the victim instead of acknowledging her pain. Instead of understanding her pain, he twisted the conversation. "So this marriage is over? Since you hate me, I can do whatever I want?" Classic manipulation, making himself the victim. But what happened next changed everything. 27 years of marriage, and he couldn't admit one mistake. No apology. No accountability. Just doubling down on his betrayal. Nearly 3 decades of marriage, and she no longer felt safe with the man she'd shared her life with. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to rebuild. Then came the final insult. While she was changing sheets, grieving her father, he grabbed her inappropriately. After everything they'd been through, he thought this was acceptable. That was it. The moment she knew there was no coming back from this level of disrespect and entitlement. She'd given him 27 years of loyalty, trust, and partnership. In return, she got betrayal, dismissal, and violation when she needed support most. Without acknowledgement, without accountability, how do you move forward? Some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes respect matters more. And sometimes, you have to choose yourself.